Okay, so back once again with another lecture video. This is once again your Professor Franklin Ayuson, and ano ba, this is part 3 of our discussion for Module 1, Economic Thinking. Okay, so as usual, I will try to run down again things that we have discussed and continue where we uh, stop in our discussion in part 2. So again, okay, this time we talk about understanding scarcity and economics, term of scarcity, economics, and opportunity cost. We understand goods and resources. Again, economic goods, free goods, productive resources. In terms of productive resources, we enumerated and explained in part 1, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurial ability. What else, no? We also discussed about the concept of opportunity cost. Okay, we have individual decision and the societal decision. Okay, and also labor market and trade, the division of labor and specialization concept, arriving at our economy of scale, and trade and market. Yan, nag-usapan din natin yan in part 1. Okay, then we define what is macro and microeconomics. Okay, in part 2, we started with our understanding of microeconomics and the basic economic question that help us understand microeconomics. So these are the following economic question. Inisa-isa natin yan. And we try to understand this time macroeconomics. Yan. So the monetary and fiscal policy. Okay? And we started with our discussion in part 2, okay, of what you call economic model. Yan. So we highlight math, economic models, and mathematics. Okay, and we try to give this one, okay, this circular flow diagram as our economic model. And just to highlight, no, again, no, in economists don't figure out solution to a problem, then draw the graph. It's not that process. However, we use the graph to help discover the answer. Yan, highlighting good service market, labor market, and the real world. Yan. And what else? Yan, the purpose of function. Okay. And what else, no? Yan, we try to start with a simple equation. Okay, understanding, okay, ito highlight din natin doon, no? The cause and effect, okay, in our function. Yan. And then we started with graphs, no? Okay, creating and interpreting graphs. Okay, the equation for line, interpreting graphs in economics. Okay, tapos na rin tayo dyan sa interpreting the slope, the positive slope, and obviously the negative slope, and the zero slope. Yan. Then we end up interpreting the slope, okay, our calculation for the slope. Ano ba yung cursor ko? And what else? No? Other than the calculation of slope, we also try to look at, okay, interpreting the slope uh, continuation. Yan. So this time, okay, we will start discussing part 3, okay, which is, okay, this time interpreting the slope on a non-linear relationship. So when you say non-linear relationship, it can be interpreted similar to linear relationship. However, their slope can be positive, as in this figure, okay, or negative. Okay, we can also calculate the slope similarly also by looking at the rise and the run of the segment. So nung nakaraang part, no, pinag-usapan natin ito, no, highlight natin yung rise at yung konsepto ng run. Yan. So para malinaw lang, no? Okay, what else? A higher positive slope means a steeper tilt to the curve, which you can see at a higher level of output. So ito ngayon yung tilt na tinatawag. Tumaas, okay, more output. A negative slope that is larger in absolute value, okay, that is more negative, means a steeper downward tilt to the line. Okay, so pababa naman siya. So positive and negative, no? Negative slope. Anyway, no, to continue this discussion on nonlinear relationship, okay? A nonlinear relationship can be interpreted similar to linear relationship, okay, where a slope of 0 is the horizontal line, a vertical line has an infinite slope. So you have the vertical line and you have the horizontal line. Okay? If a line has larger intercept, graphically it would shift out or up from the original, okay, parallel to the old line. Yan. So as you can see, no, we try to illustrate this slope. Okay? If a line has smaller intercept, okay, it would shift in or down parallel to the old line. So let's make it clear on the term intercept. No, balikan natin yung konsepto ng intercept para mas ma-recall natin or mas maintindihan natin. So in this slide, okay, so this is again our definition of or our example of intercept. So yung intercept na binabanggit dyan, again, these are point on the graph where line has crossed, okay, the vertical and horizontal. Therefore, okay, yung konsepto natin na pinag-uusapan, okay, on the non-linear relationship, okay, wherein we mention here, natin, okay, larger intercept or smaller intercept, meaning to say, okay, this is your large intercept, okay, and this one is your small intercept. Yan. Wherein the x and y axis basically try to meet. So the point of the x and y axis is again your intercept. Okay? So again, no, it would have an effect on our line, okay? Wherein it can tend to show either a large intercept, okay, shipping out of the line or shipping down. So it may have an effect wherein either yung line natin would be, okay, moving up, or it can also move down because of the difference in intercept dun sa graph. So we're talking about graph here, no? Anyway, so we might have some differences, okay, dun sa pag-graph natin, dun sa level of intersection between x and y. Okay? However, no, just to highlight that in real world, it's in real economic data, hindi naman talaga straight yung line na yan. It really depends. No? Anyway, so moving forward with this, okay, so we have types of graph. Okay, you have the line graph. Okay, it shows the relationship between two variables. Okay, first one measured on horizontal axis and other measured in vertical. So obviously, no, we have the following table, and this table can be represented also by the graph. Now, as you can see, yung sinasabi niya na relationship between two variable, horizontal and vertical, okay, it can be explained by the length in terms of inches, which is this one, okay, and the weight in terms of pound, which is this one. So this one obviously representing the vertical, okay, and the length in inches is your horizontal. Can you follow? Okay. So again, another point in terms of length in inches and weight in terms of pound. So that is why there are two lines here. No? Now, okay, take note. Sometimes it is useful to show more than one set of data, as also presented in our discussion. There are two sets of data. Yeah. So boys birth to 36 months and girls birth from 36 months. So these are comparing, no, two growth set for boys and girls, no, representing in our or represented in our table and provided in our graph also. Yan. So yan, no? So the data in the table below shows or rather display figure which shows the relationship between two variable, the length and the median of weight for American baby boys and girls during the first 3 years of life. So see, no? So pinakita lang natin. That again, the first type of graph is the line. Okay? So let me just clear it. Okay. So moving forward, okay, we also have okay, a continuation. Yan. So of our analysis, so the line graph measured the length in inches on horizontal axis and the weight in terms of pound in vertical axis. So in this example, okay, it point out okay, on the figure and it shows that boys who is 28-inch long, they have a median weight of 19 pounds. So this one. Okay. On the line of graph, it also shows that the length and weight relationship for boys and other line also shows the relationship for girls. So ito. So at this point, medyo parehas. Okay? Pero it may have some deviation over other data. So this kind of graph is widely used by, for example, healthcare provider to check, let's say, whether a child physical development is roughly on the track. No? So that could be it. No? Okay, another discussion on this. Okay, or moving forward. This time we can also use pie graph. Okay, as our model. So this time the pie graph or sometimes called pie chart is used to show how, let's say, the overall total is divided into two parts. Yan. So alam naman natin yung pie chart na yan. Okay, a circle represent the group as a whole. So data as a whole. Okay? And the slices in the pie shows the relative size of the subgroup. Yan. So not to highlight much, no? But there are several data provided. Of course, no? I-highlight din natin that we actually use color coding to represent different data, and obviously there are legends, no, of our data. Yan. So not to highlight that much in this slide. Okay, so moving forward, okay, again, no, some discussion on the pie chart. Okay, and this time it basically is within the population, and I think this would be age group. Yan. Okay? Another type of data or uh, model that we can use to present our data is the bar graph. So this time the bar graph uses the height of different bars to compare quantities. It's sometimes easier for reader to run on this data, okay, uh, across several bar graphs, okay, comparing the shaded areas rather than trying to compare several pie graph. So ibig sabihin, so this is let's say bar graph of separate group age. These are bar graph of population divided into group age. So ibig sabihin, finuse or kinumbine. By this time, bar graph that shows total population divided by the intercepts. So kung mapapansin mo dito, there are differences in height. This time, it's the same height. However, the shaded area may be different. Yan. So bar graph can also be subdivided in a similar way that reveals more information. Okay, that we can get from, let's say, a pie or a line graph. Okay, again, no, these are basic things that we already know. However, okay, again, we use this as, let's say, model to represent our data. Okay, again, okay, this is economics. Huh? Anyway, so moving forward with this, okay, uh, types of graph and comparison. How do you know which graph can be used? No? So for bar graph are especially useful when comparing quantities. On the other hand, pie graph are better than line graph that shows how the overall group is divided. Okay? So in terms of bar graph, for example, if you're studying population of different countries, bar graph can show relationship between population size of multiple countries. Yan. Not only it shows this relationship, but it can also show breakdown of different group within the population. On the other hand, again, pie graph, okay, has too many slides and it can become difficult to interpret. Okay, given the same example. Okay, anyway, no? So these are things that we take into consideration when using graph as our model. Okay, yan. So line graph on the other hand is more often effective format in illustrating relationship between two variables. So yan, so line graph. No? For example, time series, it can show patterns of, let's say, changes like unemployment rate over time. The line graph are also widely used in economics to present continuous data. Let's say about price, let's say wage, quantities bought, sold, and size of the economy. Okay? So, yeah, that's it. No? So basically, this ends our discussion. So, these are the following or some review question. Hindi ko na isa-isahin yan. At this point, we end our discussion on chapter 1. Okay, so economic thinking. I'm trying to browse, okay, using my phone, and I'm trying to look at our uh, Google Classroom. Okay, and if I can remember this, no? Yeah. Okay, looking at our Google Classroom. Okay, there are classwork that I will be posting. Okay, if I can remember this, no, some classwork are to be posted. Okay, and yeah, that concludes our discussion. Thank you very much for listening. I will provide you with some more information regarding our activities, our synchronous and asynchronous activities and schedule. So thank you very much. God bless everyone.